Hundreds arrested in Mitchell's Plain and gunfire has broken out near Madagascar's capital. Good afternoon. With the news at 2 o'clock, I'm Lulu Gabu. Almost 500 people have been arrested in a major anti-crime drive in Mitchell's Plain on the Cape Flats. The SABC cluster in Mitchell's Plain says a number of crime prevention operations have been conducted in the area since Monday. Those arrested face a variety of charges, including murder, rape, illegal possession of firearms, domestic violence, and possession of drugs. Calls have been made for stringent measures to help end gang violence on the Cape Flats. The DA wants Basic Education Minister Angie Motshekga to set a final deadline for the delivery of textbooks in Limpopo and commit to tendering her resignation if this deadline is not met. Based on a sample of 10% of schools in Limpopo, the recent Metcalf investigation determined that 22% of learners still did not have textbooks. DA MP Annette Lovemore says the party's own investigation outside of the sample also evidenced numerous schools still without textbooks. Lovemore says it's clear that this crisis has taken its toll on Limpopo learners. Survey results reported in the Sunday Times today indicate that 70% of grade 10 learners in the province have failed their June exams. Hundreds of people affected by the heavy rains at the Kosovo informal settlement near Philippi on the Cape Flats are queuing for food and blankets, which are being handed out by a humanitarian organization. Kosovo is one of the worst affected areas following heavy rains, which have lashed the Cape Peninsula. They say although the blankets delivered by Mustadafin Foundation will protect them from the cold, a permanent solution needs to be found to ease their plight. Resident Sindiswa Mohapi.
I'm long in this place in Kosovo. Why they don't look after us? No, they must make it something. Because you see, the floods, we have children, we can't even sleep, lot of water, we can't do nothing.
Some business people have joined President Jacob Zuma in his fight against poverty, especially in rural areas. The president is in the Eastern Cape today to roll out his Masibambanane Rural Development Initiative. He participated in the milling process at a milling plant in Lady Frere and inspected the dairy farming and crop production facilities in Kumanko village. This initiative is part of the Zero Hunger campaign. Businessman Kuseni Dlamini says the campaign will go a long way in feeding the rural poor.
From a business perspective, this is a very important drive. It's a very important campaign. The Zero Hunger campaign is so important in the country, especially when you look at provinces like the Eastern Cape, where there's so much poverty and there's so much underdevelopment. It's important for the business community to really be actively involved and join forces with government in fighting the war against poverty.
On to international news. Gunfire has broken out at an army camp near the airport serving the capital of Madagascar, Antananarivo. The country's defense minister, Andre Lucien Rakotarimasi, told reporters there had been a mutiny by troops but that their demands were unclear. He did not say how many soldiers had been involved. The firing is reported to have stopped, but flights have been suspended. Madagascar has been in crisis since 2009 when the then President Marc Ravalomanana was deposed in a military-backed coup. He has since lived in self-imposed exile in South Africa. And finally, ceremonies have begun in Norway to commemorate the day a year ago that saw 77 people killed by Anders Behring Breivik. Many of them were teenagers attending a summer camp on the island of Utøya near Oslo. Others died in a bomb attack in the city. Events are taking place at both sides. Church services are being held with King Harald and the Prime Minister Jens Stoltenberg, laying wreaths in memory of the victims. Stoltenberg says the attacks have united Norway.
Mr. Breivik took many lives. Much suffering was given to us. This was meant to change this country. However, the Norwegian country answered by gathering around our values. He lost, we won.
Recapping the top story, almost 500 people have been arrested in a major anti-crime drive in Mitchell's Plain on the Cape Flats. More news at 3 o'clock.